Hello, everyone. This is Vincent Pacillo, host of the msuwma podcast. We have another amazing episode planned for you today. We recently hosted Syed Zaidi. Syed is the president of the Broad Student Senate at Michigan State University, and the Senate's mission is to serve as liaisons between business students and faculty of the Broad College of Business. He is also a senior consultant at Spectrum Consulting Group, which is a student-led and run consulting group at Michigan State. In today's episode, we talked about Syed's journey with student leadership, how he got there, and how students can be impacted by being part of various organizations at the Broad College in order to find themselves professionally and get more involved, and so much more. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the msuwma podcast. I'm here today with Syed Zaidi, president of the Broad Student Senate. Syed, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for hosting me, Vincent.
Of course, yeah. So let's get started real quick. So, how did you get to where you are today? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I guess it starts. I can start off with where I'm from. I guess I think that might be a good place to start. So I'm originally from Pakistan, Karachi, Pakistan. I was born there. I was there in Pakistan for a couple of years, moved to Dubai, completed most of my high school in Dubai. And then I moved over to New Jersey, junior year of high school. So I've been in the States for about 4 or 5 years now, I think, coming on to my 5th year. Finished 2 years of high school in New Jersey. I had an uncle out in Michigan, and so he showed me around Michigan State, and I was like, looks like a cool place, applied, and, got in. Nice. So I picked it up because, MSU seemed like the type of place that was still growing, that had a lot of potential, had a lot of upside. And I was like, I want to be part of something that could be big, as opposed to being part of something big where I'm just another number. Came here and, I've been here ever since. And, it's been an amazing time.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So why business? What got you interested in it? What area in business are you studying? Everything like that.
So when I came in, I guess for background, businesses all I've known all my life. Both my parents used to be marketing professors. My dad's been in business all his life. My mom was in banking. And so when I came here to MSU, the goal was actually to do corporate law. I don't know if you've ever seen Suits, but there's an actor, Harvey Specter. My dream was to be Harvey Specter, right? So I was like, I'm gonna do corporate law. But then as I got into it, took my business classes, started enjoying them more. I started seeing the upside of, I would say, scaling, developing, and also just the learning there is in business. Right. It's the impact, right? I could do corporate law. Honestly, if I'm being very honest, it's a lot of studying, so I backed out of it. But with business, it's just you can scale, you can make an impact in any which way you want, and the creative freedom really drew me to it. And I'm here now.
Wonderful. So now that you're in business, what are kind of your goals going forward in terms of, like your professional goals?
Absolutely. So, at the end of the day, I would say I'm a builder at the end of it. I love to build things to scale. That's where the entrepreneurial spirit comes into me. So that is the end goal, to, have my own business or businesses, and just sort of my own infrastructure. But for that, I think you need to start off with learning. I think that's the blessing with business. There's so many different fields, interests, and industries you can go in. And I'm taking supply chain as my entry point. Plan is short term to go into management consulting, with the focus in technology. So I'll be at Accenture this summer. And then that's sort of my focus for now. Use those experiences in management consulting, which is what I would say is an expedited learning process. And then, sort of see from there where I am at a barometer of, am I ready to start a business? Do I have enough learning? But honestly, for the next couple of years, it's all just about learning and soaking more in. I think there's more to business than just 4 years of college.
I totally agree. And I think one of the things that I think the Broad College does really well is offer a variety of different types of experiences with clubs and different extracurriculars and stuff like that. And speaking of that, so you're doing management consulting. You're part of a group called Spectrum Consulting Group. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got involved? Because it's a great program we have here.
Yeah. So Spectrum Consulting Group is what you would say is I guess the premium consulting from here at MSU. It's student run, student led. It is a nonprofit organization that's set up However, that doesn't, we're still revenue generating, and we work with all types of clients, be it $1 million clients, be it startup companies. And we bring in a lot of revenue, which is what was attractive to me. I guess the fact that I get to work with companies at different scales. For me, getting into Spectrum was about seeing where my leaders were in the business college. And I saw a lot of people I looked up to in Spectrum, and I said I might as well apply. And to me, I guess the case studies or the preparation, it comes sort of naturally, in the sense that I take everything as a business problem. I just took it. I'm just here to solve it. I'm not going to, there's not a lot of studying involved. It's just solving a business problem. And so I said, this is kind of fun, and maybe I should look into this full time. And then that's where I found Spectrum. Within Spectrum, it's a group that professionally drives me, I'd say. It's my lever in terms of how I'm getting bigger and better every year, every engagement, every semester. It pushes me to learn different skills, from project management to just overall management consulting as a principal. It's really what's put my career in hyperspeed, I'd say.
That's wonderful. So now moving on from that, so you're president of the Broad Student Senate. So for those who don't know what Broad Student Senate is, do you mind if you kind of like go into a little bit about what Broad Senate does and some of the goals that Broad Senate is trying to achieve for their students?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Broad Student Senate is the governing body of the Broad Business College. We're not actually set up like your traditional governing bodies. There's 40 students who are selected and who are picked. And then after they go through the application process and are part of the Broad Student Senate, we now sort of facilitate and represent the Broad Student body in front of both faculty, administration, across the country. And then at the same time, simultaneously, finding ways to better the student experience, whether that through be, our marketing teams, revenue teams, etc. The way we're set up is, so I'm the president. I have an e-board with me. So we're split up in terms of different committees. So we have a marketing committee, an events committee, an HR committee, a revenue committee, and a DEI committee, all serving different purposes. But the main goal there is to support the student body, both externally, internally facing, just looking at growth opportunities. For instance, the marketing committee looks to use, for instance, their mediums like the Broad app, the Broad Student Org's Instagram, and sort of seeing how we can, help different Broad orgs market themselves. Similarly with revenue, seeing how we can use our funds to better propel the business college, whether it be selling merch, etc., things like that.
Right.
At the same time, we serve on different college boards. So things like the Undergraduate Policy Committee Board, the CCC, UHB, the University Hearing Board. These are all different boards that we sit on, as well as student representatives, whether it be advising faculty on what students want as part of the UPC, helping change the curriculum of the business college to better support students, or that be allocating funds to students through the CCC. These are all different ways that we get involved, but the end goal stays in mind, which is just, make sure we're enhancing the student body experience while simultaneously representing the student body as a whole.
Wonderful. That's really, really cool. So as a student leader, how would you say that you've grown, like not only as a student, but as a growing business professional?
So I'd say Michigan State is the perfect place to inhibit that growth. Whatever you need, your advisors, your faculty are there to provide you, right? Personally, the way I've grown is I came in and I just came in as, okay, I'm just going to soak everything in, right? I'm going to try a bit of everything. I wanted to try different business groups, different orgs. And so for me, what I found and what's most helpful, and I still try to do the same for other students, is looking at mentors. And my mentors helped me grow in terms of confidence, in terms of business acumen. But at the end of the day, business acumen and confidence isn't going to get you anywhere. It's your empathy, it's your people skill, and it's your ability and your motivation to give to others. And honestly, that's been my key lever in terms of growth. I haven't taken a leadership opportunity ever with the mind of, oh, I want to be in a more powerful position. It's always been, okay, if I take this opportunity, how many more people can I impact?
Right.
And that's sort of the mindset I came in with at MSU, was I'm coming here and I'm going on to the Broad Student Senate, or applying to the Broad Student Senate, in an attempt to impact as many people as I can. I'll be honest, I wanted to be president the day I stepped in the Broad Student Senate about 2-3 years ago, but it was the same motivation. If I get the opportunity to be president and represent the business college, I get to impact all 6,000 students, and that's been my ambition. And that continues to be sort of what drives me forward, and as you said, makes me a better leader every day.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So kind of going off of that, what was the thing that it took for you to like, so there are a lot of students who might want to like get more involved in student leadership or might want to kind of like make their impact. What
Mhm.
did it take for you to become president? Like, what'd you do? What were the steps that led up to that?
So I think it's just showing, year over year, semester over semester, month over month development. I think it's showing that, you provide upside for the business college and you provide upside for people around you. When you show that, so for me, it was a voting process, right? I couldn't be president if people didn't vote me in. So I had to show that, okay, I was ready to give my everything for this group.
Hmm.
And so when I show that, I'm willing to put myself on the line, and I'm willing to, do everything I can to better represent the group and the business college, that sort of puts the confidence in people that, hey, this guy is, willing to go to the end for us. So I'm going to put my investment in them and I'm going to vote for them in my instance. Another thing is, you have to show other people that you are invested in their growth.
Mm.
Big thing I mentioned earlier was, how many people can I impact? How many people can I improve? That's a big goal of mine. I think when you keep in mind that, hey, I will make an investment into you. So whatever you're doing, decisions you're making, they're also on the line for me. And that sort of brings the bond in where the other person's like, wow, this person really cares about me. This person really wants me to improve. So now I'm going to, make sure I don't let them down. And naturally that brings you closer. And, you can't be a leader if you don't have people with you. And so I guess,
100%.
to sum it up, it's all about the people. It's if
Yeah.
you get the trust of the people, if you develop those relationships, if you develop those bonds, then you're a leader because you're defined by the people around you.
What do you think's been the hardest part for you in terms of like of maybe being a leader or like the process of becoming a leader or anything like that?
I think it's the balancing act between like looking at the position you have, and seeing, okay, wow, I am the president, but then also then looking at it, okay, wow, okay, then sort of humbling yourself down and understanding that, okay, why am I president? Understand the real
Right.
purpose. A lot of these things are shiny, just titles that you can put on your desk, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, they don't really mean anything. And what they mean is what you make out of them, right? And so the hardest part has been taking away the title from what it represents and then enabling it in a way that I think is best represented, putting a purpose and putting my purpose behind the title, which is originally standing there.
I totally agree. That's really really insightful. So the other thing I wanted to kind of build on was what was the thing that kind of so you've been president from like in an in-person circumstance and a virtual circumstance.
Yeah.
So how does it change for you when it's like virtual or and in person? Like does it change? Does the whole dynamic change? Or like how would you say like how did you adapt?
So I'd say it's what you're focusing on, right? When you're in person, and when you're in person, it's about the connections. It's about making sure that you're giving enough time, enough face time, and then making, I'd say, deliberate relationships with everyone, right?
Hmm.
Deliberately giving everyone time, to make sure that as a cohort, people see you.
Right.
As a cohort, people can look up to you and be like, okay, this guy's here for me whenever I need him.
Right.
When I'm virtual, I'm in a basement right now and no one can really see me. So now it's me and my computers. And now it's for me as how I can now expand. So I'd say when you're in person, it's more about preservation mode and it's about enhancing what you already have. You don't get a lot of thinking time or a lot of alone time, where you're looking at, okay, how can I expand the group? What other ideas I have? But
Right.
when you're virtual, when things are asynchronous, for instance, or when you're at your own schedule at home, especially when you're in lockdown, you get a lot of thinking time, and that thinking time is, I think thinking is thinking time is a huge capital, just for any leader. The time to just think and say, okay, how can I improve what I have? Because it's really easy to get bogged down and caught up with the day-to-day things.
100%.
And when you're at home and in a situation when you're online, you get a lot more of that capital back than you would in person.
You mentioned a good point of how easy it is to get caught up with little things.
Yeah.
There's the, like when you're president, it's very easy to get like caught up like with all the little things, but to miss up or like to miss like the picture of what you're really trying to do.
Mhm.
So I totally agree with you, and never underestimate a good brainstorming session. It's something that
100%.
I've also kind of learned as well. So what are some of the things that the Broad Student Senate or just Broad offers to students that students can use to better further their career?
So it depends what they're really interested in, right?
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing Broad gives is its orgs, its student orgs. Everything from the Wealth Management Associations, the Broad Student Senate. There is an opportunity under every stone for a student to improve. Whatever your passion is, whatever your field of interest is, you can use those to improve. I think that's Broad's biggest asset. Also, what Broad gives is the opportunity for you to be recognized as an individual. You can go to bigger schools, but there the way I see it is the bigger the school, the less impact, or the more you're just a number, right?
Yeah.
At Broad, it's 6,000 students. It's a tight-knit group. There aren't many of us. I see the same faces every day, and so it sort of gives you the opportunity to be an individual and be who you want to be. And it's very easy to become your own and to become a leader in the business college. And the college is fully behind you. Deans, faculty, they are the nicest people I've met. Like I said earlier, big part of leadership is investment into others to help, in terms of growth. And so for deans and deans as well, deans, faculty, staff, they fully invest in you, and whatever you need is there. And I think that is beyond appreciated. I have books lying on my desk right now that have been, recommended by faculty. Faculty are always there. Deans are always there. It's just an amazing opportunity.
I love that. So what are the books on your desk? Because we at WMA, we love book recommendations. We have a whole thing on our website about book recommendations.
This one's your bread and butter, man. It's The Intelligent Investor.
Yep. We love that one.
Yeah, no, I've been. It was Finance 311. And I didn't. Professor Reimer is. I don't know if you listen to this.
Oh, he's the greatest. He's been on this podcast.
He is the greatest. And so I was in a lecture with him, and so for me, I was trying to get into investing. I looked at different quantitative methods, things like that. I just, I couldn't figure it out, a method that suited me. And he was like, you should check out value investing. And so I went down that rabbit hole, and he said, read this book. And he helped me out a lot with value investing. So yeah, he is the best.
No, he's fantastic. And what other books were recommended by the faculty?
So it was mainly that. I think it was Anything Warren Buffett Writes. That was another one he said. Generally, I think I have a couple of more down. A lot of strategy books. For instance, my supply chain professors, when they found out I wanted to be in supply chain, in supply chain consulting, a lot of strategy books. And then there was, I think just recently, there was one on lean startups. I can't remember these names, but it was something about how, if you're interested in startup, it's with my project management class in supply chain. If you're interested in developing startups, how you can focus on lean and agile methods, to build these startups. I don't know if you ever taken eShip 190.
I did.
But Professor recommends books day and night. I just had one. He said Black Swan. There was one I was talking to him about. I have it right here. Let me see if I can pull it up. What is it called? Anti-Fragile. That's another one.
I remember all these books when I took the class, because he recommends them like every Tuesday or Thursday or something like that. I forgot what day it was, but yeah.
Book recommendations are abundance. I think books are something that, I like reading, but books, when I look at how many pages there are, I'm like, I don't know if I want to read all those. But I've quickly learned that over my college experience that it's once again, it's knowledge, right? Knowledge and time are true capitals. So just exponentially increasing them through reading, etc. I think I'm a big, big pivot of mine is, personal growth. And so naturally, these help you grow at a more expedited scale. And, you take away things from that, from leadership, business, et cetera. But as a principle of personal growth and personal development day on day, books are essential.
I love that. I love that. So can you so you talk a lot about entrepreneurship. So how would you say, because we love entrepreneurship at WMA, we have a lot of entrepreneurs come on this podcast. But how would you say that entrepreneurship has helped you with not only student leadership in general, but like just with your classes and your career outlook?
I think it's what keeps me excited to go to class every day. The fact that, I am picking up something new from each of my classes that will enable me to run a better business, whether it be accounting 201, accounting 202, ITM, CSC. These are all skills that will help me build a better business. I keep saying the word, leverage. These are, people, money, and, and technology. These are all things you can leverage. And knowledge is one of those leverages that is underappreciated, underrated. And so entrepreneurship really acts as my motivator to go to class every day and learn something new that will help me build a better business in the future.
I love that. So, kind of to wrap things up here, what would you recommend to students who want to break through the door of student leadership and really want to make their impact, especially when they're a freshman or even if they're in college right now, sophomore, junior, senior?
I'd say the first thing is find who you are.
Mm,
You can't be a leader until you are yourself. So that would be the first thing. Once you figured out who you are, figure out, okay, who do I want to be like, right? Who is a better version of me, for instance? Who can I improve or strive to be like? Look at that person, strike a connection. And, chances are you probably won't be able to strike a connection. They might be completely different. Who knows?
right.
That's where books come in. That's where, reading comes in. Figure out who you want to be and then figure out who you are and then figure out who you want to be,
Yeah.
a better version of yourself. Once you figure that out, then sort of when you see that personal growth, your confidence will rise. As your confidence rises, the people around you, their confidence in you will rise. You have to exhibit, and biggest word for me is in total humility. You have to exhibit your strengths, and show that you are capable of a lot of different things, and naturally act as a conduit for the people. The biggest thing I said is, show once your confidence in yourself, you understand that now you can handle other people. So
Yeah.
then make that investment into other people, help others grow. And then as you help others grow, you get I would not say a support, but you get a base, and you get a bunch of people around you, and people who understand and recognize that you've invested in them, and then they will support you. And then that is what makes you a leader.
I totally agree with you. I love that. Well, Syed, thank you again so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Of course, man. Definitely, Vincent.
Awesome.
If you like what you just heard, please like, comment, and share. This is Lance Mullen, producer of the MSU WMA podcast. MSU WMA, or Michigan State University Wealth Management Association, is a student organization part of the Eli Broad College of Business, located in East Lansing, Michigan. Our mission is to inspire and educate the next generation of financial planners. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed, please check out our channel on all platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And check out our social media at MSUWMA and MSUWMA.com.